Well, I think kind of the whole thing's different because like as an assistant, you're not trying to get the guys to do what you want them to do. You're trying to get what the head guy wants them to do. And now there's collaboration that happens there. But like to me, I've been assistant plenty, and like your job is to assist the head guy, right? So it's just completely different. Like having the room for yourself because you're the final say. It's all your techniques. It's what you want to do. And so it's just completely different.
Is there good value in being an assistant and kind of getting a grasp of what was done before and then taking over? Is there like an advantage to that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe if like there was some real continuity in like a system, but like so much stuff has changed here now. So I don't know if it really helps. Now it helps you being an assistant and you learn from someone else that's done it way longer than you. Obviously, you know, back in New England, being with Dante for all those years, like that was so valuable. And then being with Chris these last 2 years, who's had a tremendous amount of success throughout his career, right? Like all those Boise teams everybody remembers. So that was his O-lines. And so I've been very blessed to be with really good coaches that I've worked under really my whole career. I mean, all the way back to starting off in junior college, I just felt like just good coaches all around me. So,
Coach, you guys putting an emphasis on pulling guards this season?
I wouldn't say there's any emphasis on that. I mean, we're going to pull. Are you saying like on guys that we tried to bring in, or
just in general compared to last season? Maybe pull some of those guards to open up running lanes for the running backs.
Yeah, we pulled last season. I don't think we were like any. I don't think it'll be much different. I mean, everybody has those kind of schemes, you know. I don't know if we're gonna like live in that. There's still a lot to see, like what we're actually good at once we get pads on. Once we start competing that way, so we'll kind of see as we go.
Cole, how would you describe your mentality as far as what you want to instill, what you want to see from tenacity standpoint, technique from the line?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, we really just want to have a tough O-line that plays the game in a way that like the whole team can kind of see there's a toughness established from our group there, right? We're not shying away from any kind of contact. And then, you know, really the other thing would be just a smart group. Like I don't want missed assignments. That's like the biggest thing is we're trying to play clean football, trying to eliminate bad football, play very tough, be assignment sound, and I think we'll be okay if we do those things.
You mentioned Dante Skarnecchia. What are some of the guiding principles that he taught you, fundamentals and style? You have your own style, but the things that you carry with you to this task you have at hand.
Yeah, Dante's the best coach I've ever been around. Like, you can put anybody else. Like, that's the best coach I've ever been around. And to me, it was a very clear, simple teaching progression and just the same messages every single day. And in terms of techniques, like very, very simple. We do the same drills over and over again. We don't try to like reinvent the wheel. We just feel like if we can just get really good at these basic techniques, that everything will take care of itself. And so, you know, it was just, like I said, being with him, I wouldn't be here without Dante. So kind of owe everything to him.
You had a history with Jake Andrews before he arrived here. What does he bring to the table? He hasn't played a lot in the NFL, but obviously you were with him when he was at Troy.
Yeah. You know, I was only with Jake for 1 year. So, like, I mean, there's a relationship there, but I've also been, like, here for 2 years with JP and Juice. And I think all those guys have been working really, really hard. I think they're all really intelligent guys, can get us to the right spots. And just happy to work with all three of those guys.
With Titus, full-time guard right now, what did you want to see from Titus heading into the season, and has he done a good job of putting that to practice in the short time that we've had camp?
Yeah, we don't have pads on yet, so it's so hard to evaluate like really the physicality and what's going to happen in there. But Titus has done a great job in there. He's a very versatile player. Like you guys all know that. They've moved him all around here. I know he's been more at tackle in the past, so we're working him some more at guard right now. What he allows us to do is get the best five out there. If he happens to be one of the best five, you can kind of put him where you need to. And so right now we're just getting him a lot of guard reps, and he's done a great job, working really hard.
When you were scouting Urster,
getting the best five out, how important is it though to really identify solid positions for people and to get that some consistency there?
Yeah, at some point you're definitely going to have to do that. There's no doubt about that. This early in camp, that's really never been like the mode. Because you really just don't know what these guys can do, especially right now. We're in a little bit of a unique situation where there's so many new faces in that room, and so just trying to get everybody reps so they can show what they can do, trying to move some guys around, like who works together well, who communicates together well. I mean, that's all part of it, but you're absolutely right. At some point, like, we will have, like, here's our 5, here's kind of the next guys in the game, and we'll have plenty of time to get that. And then, you know, the season's also, it's a very long season in the NFL, and what usually happens is you don't have those same 5 guys, unfortunately. Like, injuries are part of the game, and so all this goes into that. Like, it's just helpful to get guys working with different people, different sides of the line. You just build some versatility in the whole group.
When you were scouting Ursery, you guys were looking at games like the Penn State game against Abdul Carter. What are some things that jumped out, and what is he showing you now that he's on the field with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, he's a big, strong guy. He's a big, strong tackle that has good power. He can sink and anchor. You know, we really liked a lot of the stuff that he showed, and he played the game, you know, with some toughness. You know, I think that stood out on the tape, and again, really happy to have him here.
How important has it been to have a player like Cam Robinson, a vet, seen a lot of football in the room as his room kind of takes a turn to another year, losing out on Laramie Tunsil?
Yeah, it's been great to add him. All those guys that we've added, they all bring a lot of value, right? Because we have some young players in that room, and like you just said, we added some vets. We added some young guys also, not just from the draft, but from other teams. So there's a good mixture in there. And those older guys just provide kind of a sounding board for all those younger guys, and can really help people just to say, like, hey, this is how I've kind of done this. Sometimes, you know, we get up there and we're giving a message, and maybe we say it a little sharp, and those guys can pull guys aside and say, like, hey, this is all he's trying to say. So all those guys have been great to have in there, all those veteran guys.
We asked you about Dante, but Bill Belichick, how much you had Bill and all that time that you had together, and the time you had with Nick, because you guys got to know each other and worked together before. How much is that benefiting you, and what are some things that you can take away from that time?
Yeah, I just think working with Bill, again, being in New England, right? You can talk about Bill, you can talk about Josh, you can talk about Chad O'Shea, Ivan Fears, all these guys that I think for me and Nick were mentors to us. And again, I think if you ask Nick too, he'd probably say, I wouldn't be here without all those guys and all those years with them. And just really learning like the right way to do things, and just really developing a work ethic. I feel very blessed to have been part of that organization at that time frame.
How much will it matter for some guys who will it change the scenery matter if they've got the basics of the position or being an O-lineman and maybe coming someplace new with a different scheme system? How much does that change?
Yeah,
things?
I think it all depends on the players. You know, there's been plenty of guys that have been cut from teams, end up on other teams, and end up being really good players, right? And so sometimes a guy just doesn't fit a certain scheme, or maybe even like a personality with like the O-line coach and everything. So again, time will tell on all those things, guys that we've added, and if they grow. And you know, there's also just a maturation process that happens. Some guys, they just don't really reach their potential till year 3 or 4, and that happens all the time. And so like I said, I'm really happy with the room right now and all the guys we added. Everybody's working really hard, and so we'll just kind of see how this develops. You know, it's only been really 3 days and no pads, and so we got a long way to go and a lot of work to do. And
Yes.
That's me and everybody else in that room.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bob.